I dealt with pregnancy rage this time around. Anything that anyone almost did at that point gave me the ick.
I might have had that.
Your bodies, it's truly amazing, are never the same 2 days in a row. Whether you're on a 28, 32, 34-day cycle, throughout that time, your body's asking for different things. My father died 4 years ago, and this is coming up on 1 year. My mom. They taught me great love, and my kids aren't going to feel it.
A lot of women think it's really cool to miss their cycle. I felt that way. And then the time came where I did have to worry about it, and it flipped my world upside down.
This past week, we had the opportunity to sit down with Rachael and Tom Sullivan, who at one point thought they weren't going to be able to have kids. After missing multiple periods in a row, Rachael was diagnosed with PCOS, but what her and Tom discovered is they were able to help heal her body through nutrition. Since then, her and her husband Tom have gone on to have 2 beautiful babies, but while their family's been growing, Tom lost both his parents. In today's episode, we talk about PCOS, pregnancy rage, and how sometimes even men can struggle with postpartum depression. Welcome back to the Unplanned podcast, people. We have 2 very special guests today, Rachael and Tom Sullivan. Can we just give it up? Can we just give it up?
Okay. Matt looked at the camera and freaked me out, and I was like, should I look this way or this way? But now I'm seeing what's going on. I love it.
Thank you for being here. You have a beautiful family. Right before this, you guys were feeding kids, reading your children books, and just I can tell you're in the thick of the newborn stage, but then you also have a toddler. How are you guys surviving right now?
Are we surviving? No, we are.
Yeah, you traveled with them.
One day at a time. Yeah, traveling. That
was her 7th flight.
Gosh. She's a travel queen. I was a flight attendant, so I got to make sure she's getting her miles in.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would say we're 3 months in with Rosie. We have the 2.5-year-old. You guys know how this goes. I think we are rediscovering ourselves, our love for each other, our new love for Rosie, right?
Yeah, no, 100%.
You guys get it.
Oh, yes. Totally, dude. We're out the other side at this point.
I wish someone had told me, hey, by the way, just get your kid a seat on the plane, or fly Southwest where you can just bring on the car seat, or bring the Doona on and no one's going to say anything. Because we started using our Doona to help with flights. Oh my gosh, our 1-year-old falls asleep on the plane now.
Because the boys would just pass out.
He never would fall asleep. He would try to
sleep for
crawl
40 minutes
everywhere.
max, but that's way better than what we were getting before.
I wish we started what do we got to do with the newborn? And you start going through all this stuff, right? Unpacking, getting the pumps ready.
Yeah.
Nobody warned me that your 2-year-old might have a breakdown.
Oh, Tom's saying the biggest difference with 1 to 2 for us, it wasn't, preparing for the newborn in the family, was Sutton.
Aww.
And I think I hear online all the time, it's what's easier, 0 to 1 or 1 to 2. And I feel 0 to 1 has its own challenges because everything's new.
But you're reading every book.
Yeah.
You're asking for all the advice. When number 2 came, we're we do know what
we're doing.
Yeah.
We're seasoned in this at this point. But number 2 threw us for a loophole because we didn't expect how our toddler would handle it all. I think it all depends on the age of your kid. She was at the point where she had was discovering the world for the first time. I feel like she
truly understanding
it.
Things she wanted to do in the day, when she wanted to go to bed, if she wanted to get out, if she wanted to stay in bed and play, she was getting it.
She was at that point.
And then we brought home a baby.
And then we brought home Rosie. And her world was flipped upside down. And that was
it killed me.
It killed Tom.
It put me in a truly mental tough spot because I was my little girl, you're feeling it and you don't know why. And you're trying to process a lot of emotions. And there was a good 2 months there where it really destroyed me.
Yeah. You were, you had a bit of a.
Well, and you were taking care of baby.
I think what did we, postpartum depression? It's 1 in 8 males can have it, which I didn't know was a thing. Neither of us knew it was a thing. And Tom had mentioned on his Instagram story, he's it's been really tough for me going through all the things. And so many women were my husband is dealing with this. And it's not talked about ever. And this is something I wish was more vocalized. I didn't know it was a thing either.
Mm-hmm. Wait, this is the first time I'm hearing that too.
Yeah, no, it's it's a thing.
Well, you probably felt silly to say anything because it's okay, my wife just freaking pushed
my baby right
out of her vagina, and here I am
complaining. Baby on her boob every 3 hours is changing out her pad. Like,
exactly.
you get it.
Exactly.
So then you're just like, Tom, shut up.
Like, where am I to complain?
Like, what am I?
Yeah.
But
Which then
my
probably
heart's
made you
being
feel
torn
worse.
for my daughter, my 2-year-old.
Yeah.
That's
She
sad.
took it rough, like really, really rough.
Nobody's going to want to hear this. That's 7 days. Sutton slept through the night every night of her life.
it was like day 11.
Day 11, she slept through the night every day of her life.
Really?
Until we brought home a
Okay,
newborn.
great.
And she has not slept now in 3 months.
Yeah, no.
You're
Sutton hasn't
kidding.
slept
So
in 3 months now.
it affected her that much.
Yeah, no. So like, like we were good the first 2 weeks. I was like, holy shit, we have 2 babies who are like sleepers. Like, I don't know what we've done in this lifetime to get this moment. And then, her anxiety started like hitting up, and she would get like night terrors and start screaming in the middle of the night. And then she learned how to climb out of her crib. And we knew that she had like could explore it before, but it was nothing she like ever tried to do. And it was like 2 nights in a row of trying. We're like, well, you got to move you to the big girl bed now. And then trying to transition a big girl bed for a toddler while also 3 weeks in with a newborn who were up all night. Like, it was just so much going on at one time.
Are you in the big bed yet?
Okay, well, our kid can't climb out because we put the tent on top of it.
No, I meant you personally.
For myself?
Okay, I'm just kidding.
I transitioned to the big girl
Listen,
bed.
if I knew about the tent, we would have done the tent. We got to the tent.
The
too
tents
late.
are amazing.
The tents are
No,
amazing
we got
because he
to it
doesn't
too.
try to climb out.
No, it makes sleep like, even because we'll travel and go see family. We have family all over. Like,
We get
my
made
parents
fun of
are.
for the tents, though.
Oh, people think it's so weird, but it's
They're
the
like,
best
this
thing
is
ever.
so extra.
I've seen them. I've never done them.
No, they're so good.
But then he doesn't think to climb out because he's in a tent.
And they feel safe and
It's
feel
the
like
same
they're at
environment
home.
everywhere they go.
Everywhere they go, they're in the same exact environment, so that makes them feel so safe, so comfortable, and we don't have like issues with them like sleeping. When
We're going to have an issue when
go.
we transition, though.
We're big.
I'm scared.
Obviously, there's a million different techniques. We're big on she slept anywhere we brought her.
Yeah.
In any position.
Yeah.
But now we're paying for some of so
Yeah.
It's the opposite
you know how it is.
problems.
Everything
Everything
I
is
think
give and
that
a
is the
take.
thing of parenting. It's like, can you be respectful for what they do?
Yeah.
Can you look at what you do? Can we like get better at it? And I think that's one of like the beauties of the internet. Like, people talk trash social media and some of the things that bring it. I think one of the best things it does is like, I'm scared as shit. And I can find people that are going through it.
Yeah.
And if you have an open mind, like, I don't do it their way. Should I think about that?
Yeah. That's how I found out about the tents in the first place, was actually social media. I was like, Matt, we
You're like, okay. You're like, take that shot. Bye.
Yeah, we were so confident and great. And then, like, we tried to put him down for a nap one time without it on Sunday. No sleep was had. So I was like, well, this is where we're going to pay for it.
It was really bad. Like, he was in a room that had all the curtains closed. Like, everything was normal for like a normal human being to sleep. But I mean, not to say that kid's not a normal human being.
He was like literally WWEing off the pack and play. Like,
he's just not used to sleeping without it being pitch black. So he just would not go to bed until
and then
we
he was
got
like, I can climb out of here.
Yeah, until we got the sleep tent, and then boom, lights out.
How
he slept
was
great.
like 1 to 2 for you guys, just even like personally? Because everyone talks about like now you're still at least one-on-one, like you're not outnumbered.
Okay. I feel like this, I feel like I might get hate for saying this, but I love 1. I love 2. I love those ages so much. Newborn stage, not my thing. It's just so hard. And I think part of what made it so hard though, Tom, was I didn't know there was light at the end of the tunnel. I thought that my life was going to be sleepless nights, being depressed, like going crazy, because it's just like you are giving so much to your child to keep them alive and take care of them and love on them, and you're trying so hard just to be the best parent you possibly can be. But like it's just hard. There's just like there's not like really an easy answer to, I think, to get through that. It's just really, really hard, and that's why I feel so much for single parents who do that by themselves. I don't know. They are superhumans, dude. I don't know how they do that, because I have a supportive partner, and it was still so hard. Like, I don't know how single parents do it.
I think, obviously, like, we had different issues, though. Like, because Griffin was so young when Augie was born, he was only 13 months.
Yeah.
I feel like
Ooh, that's back to back.
Yeah. I feel like we had different sets of issues. C-section, so we're great. Well, so basically, I feel like we had different issues, like we had essentially 2 babies, not like a toddler and a baby.
Yeah.
But then Griffin, like, mentally was like, knew no different. Like, he was just like,
because
there's that guy.
like, this is world, like we were saying, like her world had just started to realize what was happening.
I think we're 6 months away. 6 months earlier.
We say the window. We're like, either we should have, I mean, whatever, we're in it. But I feel like there's little things. Number 2, I will do the bed transition with Rosie if we get to number 3. Like, I will make sure the moment I find out I'm pregnant, I'm like, we are transitioning to the big girl bed.
That's bad timing. But you couldn't have predicted that.
Yeah, no, I couldn't predict it. But
so it was just hard with like her anxiety. And
separation anxiety.
Big time. Yeah.
Sad. That's
but it's
tough.
We said last night she crawled. Well, we put her in bed with us because we're in a new environment. And she won't sleep in a pack and play. But last night I was like, man, I'm going to miss these moments where she is so tiny and where she won't want to like crawl in the bed with us anymore. Like, so I'm trying to take advantage of those times and not see it as, oh my God, my kids, I'm sleepless nights, whatever. All my space is gone. Like, I'm really just trying to.
Yeah, when she runs in the room now at night, there's a little smirk on my face. Like, come here, honey.
You're excited, and I'm like, okay, I got to breastfeed. I'm like, Rosie, because she's still up she's like clockwork every 3 hours wanting to be on the teeth.
This is like the epitome of like, to sum it up. It was day 2 when she was in her playroom and went in the corner.
Oh yeah,
It was
like day 2 of being home.
We have a playroom and she plays in there a lot, like on her own, and she'll be like kind of pushes off, like she's very independent. And then all of a sudden, the next time, every time she needs to play since Rosie got home was pulling us in there or with her, like we needed to be there. And all of a sudden, she went in the corner, put her head down, and would not look up at us.
It was like this, and I would never see
a pouty face that I've never seen on her. Yeah. And we're trying to FaceTime people. And she like won't look up.
FaceTime her friends, FaceTime our family. For an hour. And for a whole hour, she.
Like, as parents, put yourself in that moment.
Still, yeah.
And it was like whatever we did, grabbed, presented.
I was like, do you want to play with pickles? And she'd be like, I'd be like, do you want to eat this? Do you want to call this person? She'd be like, I'm okay. No. And I was like, this is the saddest thing I've ever experienced. Like, that was tough.
And you had a baby too.
And I had this baby who I'm like, don't do this to me. I'm like, I feel wrecked because this baby's on me 24/7. And now I feel like my love is being divided. And I don't want her to think that I don't love her, even though I know they don't think that. But yeah.
What I'm hearing, here's the thing. New baby, it's a transition for every member of the house, right? Like dad, mom, and then
date nights, like our intimacy, like the love we have for each other. We really believe we have to love each other so they see what it is, right?
Yeah.
So even getting that back and rekindled, and it's a lot.
Yeah, pregnancy was. I don't know how your pregnancy was. Did you deal? So I dealt with pregnancy rage this time around.
Dude, I when I was reading up about you guys, I was like, man, I might have had that.
It was baby number 1 was like pregnancy with Sutton was rainbows and butterflies, and I just felt sexy. My sex drive was great. Like everything I was doing, I was succeeding and excelling in. I felt beautiful. I had so much confidence. And then pregnancy number 2, it was like anything Tom did, but gave me the ick, bugged me. It was anything that anyone almost did at that point. I took it most out on you. I felt bad for that, but I would intentionally, he would ask me something like, what do you want for breakfast? And I would be pissed like that, as if not. Tom makes 3 meals a day because he's a cook. That's what he does for a living. You know what I mean? And so I would just get mad if he cooked my egg wrong, or just things that you should be grateful for, right? I was just so ungrateful. Or I would do things that I know would piss him off. If he would ask me to do something, I know in my head it would make him mad, and I would intentionally want to do it. It was just I hated it. I cried. I cried I cried every other day about it. And I was like, I hate this. There's a demon in me. I need to get this out. This baby needs to come out.
We found out when we were pregnant, we found out Rachel was pregnant when we found out my mom got sick. And we lost my mom right into the beginning. So there was just a lot of variables. There was just a lot of variables.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables. And I think that tore into it.
It's been a tough little bit, also sprinkled with the most joy ever, but it all kind of colors that season in a different way. So and you guys are still like prioritizing each other, and you still clearly
Trying.
love each other and your
Thursdays are
kids
date
so
night.
much.
I want to know more about this egg though. Like, were you intentionally doing the egg cooking wrong? What
I like
was
an
going
over
on?
hard egg, and if it has like any runny, I get like,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
when
you want it over hard. You want no yolk
no
running at
yolk.
all.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
The yolk
Without
like
the yolk
freaks
being
me
cracked.
out.
And what's your technique? What's your technique to make this happen, Tom? How do you get it right every time?
Just do it very carefully.
That's sweet.
I have a lot of techniques, but you don't want to overdo it because then it gets bad. So there's that right when it turns, and
Yeah.
I probably forgot right when there was like a little
Yeah.
run.
But honestly, it was the most
It could be anything.
right when Rosie came
it goes
out
back
of me.
to like she's carrying the baby. Her hormone.
Yes.
Listen, we have a book on hormones and women's health. Okay, I know her body is going through
Yeah.
crazy shit.
Yeah.
That me and you will never understand.
100%.
However, there is that difficulty of like, I'm getting beat up. I don't want to take it out on you.
Yeah.
I do need somewhere to go
Yeah.
to also get that out.
Yeah.
And I'm very extremely grateful for her. It would be like the next day that she'd be like, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Dude, and to me, I was like, oh, thank God. Like, I'm not just being a bad husband.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, and he was being like the above and beyond. And I was just, everything just like made me mad.
I can totally relate because I remember even at the time I was like, can I control this? Because like I feel like I can, but I also feel like in other ways like I can't. Like
Yeah.
where I was like, is this hormones or am I just literally mean? And then it wasn't until we were like, when was it that we had that like first conversation postpartum? I was like, I feel really good. Like,
I feel
was
good
like,
again.
I feel like I can see sunshine again. Like, and I wasn't even like aware of like all those. I was like, I love you. Like, and it took like it took a
Yeah.
while. Like, it wasn't even like it was like postpartum too. Like that carried out and was actually even worse postpartum. I feel like, yeah, actually, it was definitely worse postpartum. And then it was like, I would
That's
say
like, it's
3
okay.
months. I'm like, how are you actually, man? No, totally. I feel like people don't talk about that. And I didn't have the contrast of like a sunshine and rainbows pregnancy. I think physically, both pregnancies, I felt pretty good. And I was really grateful for that. But mentally, no.
We
Yeah.
we
Not
talk
good.
about it. We kind of talk. That's a big part of why the second book came. It's not like your 10 girlfriends are going through it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you have one or two, like you're not on the same day.
Yeah.
And you can look back and try to recall it, but like you are on an island going through pregnancy a lot of the times. Like if you really think about that, like you can ask people, hey, did you have this? And they're trying to backtrack. And we're writing a book about pregnancy, and she's like calling every friend because she's like, when
like,
we
I don't remember
started
what
it,
happened.
she
Yeah.
wasn't pregnant. So she actually
Yeah.
wrote the book while pregnant, but when she wasn't, she's like, I don't remember week 13.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
And I also didn't want like I said, my first experience was so great that I didn't want that to be the only perspective of
Yeah.
the book, because I did have it really good. Not that I'm saying I'm thankful for my second pregnancy being different, but I really am, because it really brought like a whole different perspective to the book. Like
Yeah.
I've had it both ways. I've had the beautiful pregnancy where I want to be pregnant again, and I've had the rough pregnancy where I was like, I could wait 5 to 10 years before I touch that.
And I guess to your point, the reason I brought that up was we had to mentally reflect a lot. And it sounds like you actually did that in real time. Like as you're sitting there saying, Matt, are you okay?
Yeah, like, are you all right? Like, we've talked about it a lot, actually. But
I know, like, I love how you referred to pregnancy as being on an island, because that must be so hard to be going through the most difficult thing most women probably up to that point have gone through. Like, growing a child is a very, very big deal. And so going through that alone, no one really understands truly what you're going through unless they're pregnant at the same time in the same stage. So that must feel really isolating. And then Tom, to your point, being the caregiver for someone that's going through that isolating event must also be isolating, because you're like, I'm taking care of this person that I love very, very much, that's doing this incredible thing for our family, growing this child. But then it must have been hard for you when, like you said, when you felt like you didn't know what to do, when you were stressed and you were trying your hardest, but things weren't going the way you had planned.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think it's cool that like you're willing to open up about like some of the struggles too, even though you clearly love your family so much and are
Yeah.
so grateful for it. But I think that because people going through it can feel like, oh man, everyone's doing pregnancy and they seem to be like thriving and like loving their life, and I'm actually kind of having a hard time
And
right
I'm
now.
feeling the opposite or
Yeah.
whatnot. Yeah.
And it's really cool that you're like willing to be vulnerable in that way to like share, like, you know, like we love it and we wouldn't have it any other way, but it was like not always easy. And
it was rough.
It was rough. Yeah. And also like your journey to pregnancy, you opened up about having PCOS. Obviously that's a big part of your guys' story. Was there ever a concern that like fertility might be something that was difficult for the two of you?
We found out I had PCOS because we were starting on like our whole fertility journey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I always thought we were like the couple who we weren't not trying, right? So we didn't use birth control. And I thought like a baby would just happen. Yeah. And we were
active.
we were active enough where I'm like, okay,
like, this should have accidentally happened.
How active we talking?
Matthew.
Compare numbers later.
Sorry, we just met you guys. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Okay. But, you know, it got to the point where I'm now, you know, getting nervous because we had been married 3 or 4 years. And at that point, I'd kind of wanted a child maybe by that time. And so I went and got checked out. I had a concern that I had PCOS because there was a girl on social media at the time posting about it. I had never heard of it before. And I had a lot of the same symptoms that she had. One, the biggest being an irregular cycle. So like, I feel like a lot of women think it's like really cool to miss their cycle. And it's like, oh my God, I don't have my period. Like this is a blessing. And I felt that way for a little bit where I was like 3 months, I don't have my period. I don't have to worry about it. And then the time came where like I did have to worry about it and it flipped my world upside down. It's something that you like don't want until you don't have it. And then you're like, I want this so deeply and badly. So yeah, I was missing my cycle. I went and got checked out and they do a list of criterias that like your body, like cysts, your hormone levels maybe being off. And so I qualified for 2 out of the 3 things on this criteria list. So I was diagnosed with PCOS and they had recommended me going on birth control to regulate my cycle. And I did not want to do that because we were trying to have a child. So we took a holistic approach.
Thank you to Rocket Money for sponsoring this portion of today's episode.
Do you have unwanted subscriptions that you cannot get rid of? I've been there and it is so annoying, but thankfully, Rocket Money can handle that for you.
Well, Matt, have you ever thought about the fact that many people have subscriptions that are probably unwanted, but they don't even know that they're spending money every month on them?
Yeah, and on the Rocket Money app, they will actually tell you all the subscriptions that you have, just in case there's a few that snuck through the cracks.
Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings.
It's pretty great. We actually use it. We've been using it now for over a year. It's helped us save a lot of money on unwanted subscriptions, as well as things like lowering our security bill. We pay like a monthly bill for our security system, and Rocket Money called and negotiated it for us so that we only pay $29.99 now. We used to pay like double that. So thank you.
There's
thank you,
a lot
Money.
of great user-friendly features on Rocket Money that help you easily create a personalized budget or get alerts if bills increase. They also have like a new goals feature that can automatically help you save money that you don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
It can help you pay off your credit card debt, put away money for a house if that's a goal you have, or just build your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. So cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals fast with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/unplanned today. That's rocketmoney.com/unplanned. rocketmoney.com/unplanned.
Normally, someone with PCOS, like normally you try for like a year.
Yeah.
And then if there's complications, you come back and then we take the next step.
Okay.
And then it was for someone with PCOS, it's take 6 months. And if it's not happening, then come back and we'll take the next steps.
Yeah.
And so we went to the point where I didn't want to do birth control. So we took the holistic approach and we saw that food could impact the body and restore your cycle and balance your hormones.
And I love cooking.
And Tom loves cooking.
So we did a deep dive. And because of social media, a lot of experts reached out and we got in touch with a lot of great people. And like our body, me and you are swimming pools without a filter. if we don't work out, if we don't really treat it, it doesn't get filtered out.
Yeah.
Your bodies, it's truly amazing, are never the same 2 days in a row. There's always a level rising, lowering, your egg moving. You have 4 cycles in between your periods. So you menstruate, you go through your luteal, your follicular, your
Look at Tom.
ovulation.
He's like,
Bro,
he knows more about
your
period
stuff.
than most
Yeah,
women.
like I can geek out on it, but the long and short is whether you're on a 28, 32, 34 day cycle from period end to period begin, throughout that time, like you should be doing different things for your body. Because your body's asking for different things. It's the reason why if you join Orange Theory and you do it every single day after 6 months, like you might be good at it, but there's going to be a 10-day period in there where you're getting your ass kicked.
Yeah.
Because your body's kind of probably saying like maybe do yoga.
Maybe,
Like
take
still
it down
work out, but like do that. So we got into that, and your body's asking for certain foods. So I started implementing those foods based off her cycle of what her body's asking. And and we have thousands and thousands of people that reach out, and it's always 3 months, because 3 months is the time to flush out a lot of the hormones, a lot of the gut health problems, etc. So in 3 months, she had like 9 symptoms, hormonal acne.
Yeah, I had really bad like hormonal acne.
When her period came, it was go get the supers and put the towels down.
Like I was I needed like a towel in the bed, like heavy flow.
Oh, you got your period after 3 months.
Oh, what?
No, before.
Before that. So symptoms we're talking about that I had beforehand. It was like I had really bad like hormonal acne. My period flow was like super, super heavy. I had like migraines.
This is before you started.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
This is before
you
all
had
of that.
migraines.
This was just like the symptoms that sometimes people don't connect, but it could be a hormone problem.
When you got your period, but sometimes you would skip it for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
correct.
so
then
you would still
after-
get it sometimes.
Yeah, I would get it and then it'd go away for 3
And it was,
months.
like,
and then
really,
I'd get
really
it.
heavy.
So
Yeah,
after changing the diet for 3 months, she was on a 28-day
Like
cycle.
28-day cycle, like that, which I had never
Ovulating the same
experienced
days
in my life.
For over a year, we tracked it.
That is
And
incredible.
then we got pregnant.
And then we got pregnant.
Wait, that's amazing actually to hear, because I feel like sometimes I'm like, well, I mean, like if a doctor were to tell me to do birth control, I'd be like, okay, well, if that's what I do, like I wouldn't ever think twice. So that's really cool that you guys were like, no, like you had the motivation to do all of that research on your own, to be like, there's a different way we could go about this.
I'm going to say something that every person watching this right now is thinking, Tom, you're an amazing husband.
That's
got a good
sweet.
You're
wife,
like you're
man.
doing such a good job. No, but you can accept, like, yeah, I don't know. You're just clearly like doing such a good job, and like you spouting out those facts about women's health and women's bodies that you just like knew so well. It's like you've talked about it a million times. You know your wife and you know women so well, and it's really cool to see you step up to the plate and be that leader for your family. So that's really cool.
Ultimate girl dad.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, of course you have
You
two
were meant
daughters.
to be a girl dad.
I will be the first to tell you that if I didn't meet this girl, I would have worked a corporate life till I was retired. I did not have an emotional bone in my body. Aww. I don't think I would cry for 3 years in a row. And I met her, and she actually made me comfortable feeling the person I am.
Wow.
I probably cry as much as you, if not more these days. I want to travel and enjoy life. I actually take it in. So yeah, there's a yin and a yang for sure.
That's so
But she gave me
sweet.
like an actual life I want to live, and not one that was told what I had to do, if that makes sense.
Wow,
Right?
that's
You
beautiful.
guys are so perfect.
That's so beautiful. I'm inspired.
She did, man. I just wanted to work and get retired and do the corporate thing, and that would have sucked.
I love
What was your
that.
satisfaction in the corporate world versus your satisfaction now with your life? Like out of 10, if you could rank it.
I don't even know how I could rank it. I always just wanted, like, we cook for the college meals, we do this. Like I've always had the like helping bone in my body. I think that's being the oldest of 17 little cousins and like big families. But I also like my grandpa was a plumber. My dad went to the Marines to get his college, and they didn't pay for it, and he worked through it. And like, there's just a lot of motivation that always made me want to be corporate to probably be able to afford to do the dreams I had.
Totally.
And that's the path I was told you had to do it.
Yeah.
And now we learned a different path, and I think we're we're doing our best to do good things.
That's awesome. And you started sharing some of your recipes, but without Rachael knowing.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about that for because you got recommended the page, and that's how you found out.
Yeah, so
I feel like it's almost like this page was made for me. Like Instagram has gotten so good.
Like, is this my house? Why is someone in my house posting videos on Instagram?
Oh, listen, I barely had Instagram. It was just to like her stuff. So she was a flight attendant. She would blog, and she's always had a creative writing side.
So I went to college for communication and creative writing. And so that was like my bread and butter. Not that I necessarily wanted to be an author, but I knew I really wanted to be in like the creative space. And so when I was a flight attendant, that was kind of when like blogs were starting and all of that was happening. So I had a few different blogs where I would talk about all my travels and I would document. They were my little diary memoirs. And then Instagram happened, and I kind of saw people were getting paid and making a lifestyle out of it. And I was like, well, maybe if I just like keep this up one day, it'll amount to something. 6 years later, still nothing was happening. And then COVID happened, and I lost my job, or I was furloughed. And then
no one was flying.
Say what?
Yeah, no one was flying.
Yeah, no one was flying. Things weren't happening. And so Tom, we were spending more time at home together. And
well, this is also, we found out the PCOS.
This was all of this happened like right when the PCOS-ness was happening. So Tom starts, cooking for me.
And I know we're going to have to document it. And like, I don't love being analytical, but I am very like historical driven.
Yeah.
Like, let me look back at what we did and what worked and didn't. And I'm like, I need to write all this shit down somewhere.
Yeah.
And I need like pictures of the food and when we did it and when her cycle was and what phase we're going for and what the LH level or what we're trying to affect. And I had like Pinterest boards. I had Safari saved. I have notes. I have like handwritten notes. And in my head, I was like, Instagram, I can literally take the picture, be like, this is for the luteal phase for these reasons. Here's the recipe. And that was it.
Now, the reason I tell you the backstory of the social media is because Tom later on tells me that he did this and didn't want to tell me about it because I would try to make it pretty and I would try to make it aesthetic and I would try to make it a thing.
I was like,
he's like,
all I could think about was if she knows about this, she's going to pull out her camera and take a picture of the food. And I'm going to have to wait till it's edited. And now I'm making 3 meals a day.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, and I'm going to be annoyed with her because I'm going to be trying to just get the data.
Just get the food out and do the thing. And I'd be like, wait, the lighting,
so
let me get a prop.
I kept it a secret. Like I did not want her to know it until I was a little further in.
But yeah, I saw on Instagram, it was like you know how it shows you the people you may know section or whatever. So it said meals she eats, and then it said Tom Sullivan. And I was like,
I didn't know any. I had no social media.
Oh, you're like, who is she?
I was like, who is this shit? And I click on it, and it was like the first recipe was like a miso soup that he had cooked like the week before, and it was the recipe inside of it, and then it was like hashtag PCOS, hashtag, like there was like 14 hashtags on it.
I was like, there are millions of people on this. She's not gonna find it. I have like 12 followers, and they're like the food pages that follow you back.
And I thought it was so cute, and so I approached him on it, and I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I didn't want you to make it like this pretty thing. I just like needed I needed to like do this." And then I had made a TikTok about it, and I was like, I found out my husband had a secret Instagram account, and that I had been going through this hormone imbalance, and that he was cooking the food, and this was his way to document it. And then Rachael Ray, it blew up. And the TikTok that I made blew up.
This is where I'm an idiot, keeping it to myself, because then
honestly,
because then it blows up.
The video went wild, and then USA Today did like a story on us, and that took off. And then Rachael Ray reached out and said she had seen the story on USA Today and wanted us on the show, and that was like it was crazy because we grew up watching Rachael Ray. She's like our icon,
and she's like
still
the home
is our
cook.
icon.
I never had formal training.
Yeah, it was Tom's vibe, like never formal training, home cook. And we went on her show, and by the way, it's so funny because we thought like, oh, being on like Rachael Ray, like maybe like we would get like a crazy following from it or whatnot.
Yeah.
I think we got like 20 followers from like being on Rachael Ray. It was because when it hit like meme pages or whatever, the video, then we would like gain the following. But I think everyone always thinks like, oh, you guys are on, like, you're on TV, like a following will come from it. And I'm almost like off mainstream media. I feel like it really doesn't do anything anymore. Because people want to talk to real humans and not like.
Well, I think there's a huge shift right now in our culture and our society all over the world where people like the relatability of social media because you actually connect with like real humans. Now, obviously, it's still, you know, there's like a screen between you, but that's why I love something like this, like a podcast, because we're actually having a real conversation. Yeah. Like we're not like filtering this like they would on a TV show like Rachael Ray. Not to knock Rachael Ray, because what she's done is incredible. But I think
Rachael, if you still want to send me to your Italy home, we will visit anytime.
You got to meet her. That's so cool.
No, we didn't get to meet her because it was COVID. It was Zoom. We were supposed to.
Dang.
We did
get to chat with her.
She met her.
So sweet.
I never got to embrace her.
Wait, it was a Zoom?
You get to embrace her.
Yeah.
No.
I know. It was
she
like,
had us back
you know that we
twice.
never do.
We were on it twice, and each time was a Zoom.
Dang.
No, a rule for our show is we only do in-person interviews. So, because I feel like with the Zoom call or something, it's just not the same. Like,
I wish I could have like hugged her.
I know.
And she's so funny and like whatever. It's okay.
Yeah, that's still pretty dope though. That's cool.
Is she back in doing live shows?
I don't know. Rachel, what are you doing?
Me too, Rachel.
Call me.
Are you using her cooking pans? I know she has like some pretty good cooking pans.
Yeah,
So
she does.
when we
She
were
does.
registering, like on our registry when we got married, I remember there was like a Rachael Ray set. I was like, Abby
Must
told
be
me, she was
good.
like, this is good. She is like famous and she makes pans. And I'm like, all right, we could. I don't think we even registered for those, did we?
I
We
think
did
we
like
just
a
got the
different.
cheapest Amazon
We got the
ones.
cheapest ones, yeah.
We're like, well.
But yeah, so that's how that account started.
That's so cool.
And then it turned into a book.
At what point did you find out you were pregnant with Sutton?
Into that like account being made, or just like
Your journey with the holistic foods and
so we did a year of like
13 or 14 months after, right?
yeah, like
Okay.
13,
So
14.
3 months, her body gets on that 28-day cycle, and we tracked that and I think at month
was like a year.
13, at month 13, we really started trying.
Yeah, and then it was like
Because now we
about
knew
6
like the
months
days
after
she
that.
would get pregnant, so we avoided those days.
We just wanted to make
Obvious-
sure. I was like, what we were doing at that point, it was, my thought process wasn't like the pregnancy itself. It was, I want to heal my body and I want to see if this works. And I don't want, like, not that I don't want to get pregnant right away, but I really just wanted to heal my body at that point.
Yeah.
So we did it for a whole year to see if I really was balancing my hormones, if it wasn't just a fluke, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, after like the year mark, we were like, all right, let's like full send, try this. And it was about like under 6 months.
wow.
When I was trying to figure out fun questions to ask you guys, I was like, I need to do like a deep dive on their Instagram to see if there's like a funny like old memory that I could bring up or get like the story behind it. Because I think when you find like an old photo of a couple that like has a funny story to it, it's always hilarious. And there was a photo that stuck out to me that I just died laughing. I had to show Abby. I was
Watermelon?
like, what is the story? What is the story behind this picture? I gotta know. I gotta know.
I mean, if that's one you pick, I'll send you a print.
Oh my god! Do you have a picture with you? Do you have a print with you?
That was so every week of, this was.
I knew it.
I knew it was going to be that one too. Okay.
So Sutton, obviously, finding out we were pregnant was an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
We both, and I'm sure you guys do too, we have a lot of people we know that didn't get to the end of the pregnancy. Miscarriages happen in silence all the time, and that was always PCOS that heightens it. And going into that pregnancy, we said we are not taking a single week of this for granted. Like, we don't want to get through it.
Yeah, we want
Like,
to enjoy
we want to
it.
embrace this whole thing.
Yeah.
So one day,
It was, and there's a write up in the book, but I was the size of a fig, and our neighbor had a fig tree. And Tom, he's just so funny and always has like the best ideas. He was like, "Oh, we should like make a fig recipe because the baby's the size of a fig today, and I'll go pick some figs off like the fig tree, and we'll like make a pizza." And it was kind of like this no big thing. And he like made a little meal for me, and I thought it was cute, so I documented it. And I was like, came in the room, and I'm like, "Honey, what do we got?" And he's like, "Oh, we have a fig pizza because the baby's the size of a fig today." And it was like, it was really fun for us, and it was our fun, like, intentional time every week to like remember the pregnancy and spend that time together and, you know, share our love. And we did that the entirety of the pregnancy. And that's what the second book is. It's Honey, What Do We Got?
I love that.
And
I saw that.
yeah, and it started with the little fig.
Being an intentional, because you guys know how it is. It's like you find out you're pregnant, there's like doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
Yeah.
And then it slows down for a really long time.
Yeah, that's true.
And then it kicks back up, and then there's the fear, the anxiety. There is everything ready? Are the rooms ready? Do we got to paint? Do we got to whatever? And I think like reflecting on that helped us so much.
Yeah.
To to us, what's a great way to get to know somebody? What's a great way to stop? What's a great way to reflect? Like around a table, around food. So for us, that was just our way to make sure we clocked back in with each other.
Yeah.
And when we bickered about a paint color or what crib, like, hey, we're just going to eat and enjoy this.
And then week 40, you are the size of a watermelon.
Yeah. Okay.
And I had done every week like a photo, and I would do like cute little color coordinations with the fruit and whatnot.
Yeah.
We were like, we got to go big for 40. We had, at this point now, we had a following of people who were watching us every week, showing like what recipe we were making. And I was like, I'm going to do like a naked watermelon shoe, like I embrace woman body. Like that's my favorite thing ever. And Tom was like, I'll join. And I was like, let's do this.
You should have asked who took the photo.
Okay, wait.
No,
yeah.
kidding.
Who did take the photo? I actually want to know.
It was on timer. So,
No.
so we are sprinting.
That's too professional.
Wait. We are sprinting and tapping the button.
Because I didn't have like a little clicker or anything. So I'd be like, okay, it's going. And I would make sure Tom was in frame. I was the one running back and forth. And it was in our kitchen. And we put up a little white sheet. But we have like all windows in our kitchen. So Tom would be like, the neighbor's walking past. And I'd be like, oh, it's okay.
Wait, why do I feel like that's such a good couples bonding activity? It's like, you know what, babe? Let's go do a photo shoot, just us with a timer.
Date idea.
It was so much fun.
And take nude photos with some fruit. Like, might as well, you know? Like,
I mean, there's cantaloupes, there's eggplants, there's
a lot.
There's a lot of fruits as you go through.
That's so fun.
and that was week 40 because
And that was week 40,
Tom had the
yeah.
I never
watermelon.
saw week 40.
When did you?
I had
yeah.
both at 39.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you induced or?
I was induced and then I had a scheduled C-section. So
Okay.
they do those both at 39. But I'm like, week 40 seems intense.
I always get to the point where I'm not ready for the baby to come yet because I'm not ready for my life to change. I'm really bad with change, like really, really bad with change. And I remember writing in the book like week 37, 38. I'm still not emotionally ready for this moment to happen. And then I remember week 40, I was like, get this thing out of me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we're ready.
It's nature. You're literally like labored birth sounds better than staying like this.
I'm like, I just need this thing out, like emotionally, physically, mentally, all of the things. And I just want to meet at that point. I'm like, I just want to meet you. I want to meet you. I want to hold you. I want to love on you.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, I remember people saying like, you won't be worried. Like, trust me, like by the time, like, sure, there's like, you know, like nerves, but it's a normal, like, it's not like as intense as if you were like just to be sprung on you. You're like, something happens where like, this sounds like a better option.
Yeah.
This sounds like we should just go and do this right now.
So, like, obviously, I totally understand you guys wanting to, like, send it with that photo just because you're like, I want to celebrate this. I want to enjoy this pregnancy. Like, you just never know. Like, you just don't know what could happen. And so you just want to enjoy every bit of the pregnancy and just, like, live your life. What did you guys have any funny comments from, like, family or your parents that were
I got
like...
the text.
Oh, what did they...
Yeah, it was the screenshot text.
I played college football. Like my teammates were like, "Hey, bro, hey Tom, so you're on Instagram, huh?"
It's like, you got an OnlyFans? Like, what's going on?
My parents, they don't. I mean, everything I do at this point, they're like, "Oh, that's Rachel."
They don't care.
That's Rachel.
I would concur with that.
Yeah.
I just got it got put in all the guy group text.
That's hilarious.
You guys are fun.
Did they gang up on you or were they just teasing?
I am the biggest of most of them. So
They're like, well,
No, I
be
mean-
careful what we say.
honestly, I think they know how much like me and Rachel have fun.
Yeah.
And I think they, like my close friends, know how much that's important
Yeah.
for me. I don't feel like there was ever like teasing, as weird as that sounds.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of the guy, like as much as like I locker room and sports, like we don't have a lot of the be tough, but like my friends are like love your wife friends.
Yes,
Aw,
that's awesome.
sweet.
So like, you know, I think it was fun.
That's good.
It was hard for me to press send on that, but
You're like, okay, here we
We
go.
black and white it. It looked artistic.
It was art.
It seems like you guys have like really good community though. Like where have you guys tapped into that community and found those friends? Because if I don't know, just to have like even people check in on you, right? Like and be like, that's a funny photo. Like it seems like you have good relationships, and that's like a sign of a healthy person, like a healthy life. Like how did you guys find that community?
I mean, I have like the same group of 10
I
friends
was
since
gonna
third
say,
grade.
I've like my core best friends were also like kindergarten first, and we've all done like we all went to different grades, like high school and college and so on. But I've always stayed close to those like younger ones. I mean, finding friends later on in life, it's hard. I feel like those early ones, you go through life together.
Yeah.
They see you through every step of the way. And so I feel like there's always like a really special bond with those people. But even beyond that, we moved from Chicago to Raleigh. And we didn't know anybody out there except for I had a family friend who brought us in and was like, whatever you guys need from us, and we're here to support you, and like we want to welcome you to our community. And they've really taken us in, and it's become our core group. Mike and Judy, we love you.
And did you meet them because they were your neighbors? Were they at a certain like club you guys would attend? How did you meet them?
My family has a lake house. We're from. Did your family have a lake house? I feel like it's a Midwest thing. No.
Well, I have family in Chicago, which you said you guys.
Oh yeah.
Quincy is not Chicago.
Yeah.
I know
Okay.
Quincy, but
I feel a lot of people in Chicago like go to like lake houses or have lake houses. My dad won one in a divorce, so.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so our lake house, it's a community of like 10 houses there, and everyone is related except for us. My dad was partners with one of the guys who had
Your
bought
dad was
property.
a police officer.
Yeah.
So his partner.
On the force had bought property there and was like, hey, my whole family's buying into this land. You should come join. So he did, and that is like my second family, all of the people who live there.
That's so cool.
And so it was one of the daughters of one of the family members who had moved out to Raleigh. And so she already was like my cousin, like, your fake cousins, you all have those, right? Like people you call family. And so it was nice having like her to lean on and have that. And then she just opened us up into her community, which was really great.
Wow. That's so cool.
And are you guys big lake people? Do you water ski, jet ski? Do you guys have a boat? If you have a boat, that's pretty sick.
We did have a boat.
You got rid of the boat. Why'd you get rid of the
on
boat?
Lake Michigan, we had a boat.
Yeah, we did when we lived in Chicago.
Did you
Lived
sell
on
it?
the
Did you like
Tom
crash it?
bought
What
it.
happened?
Wait, this is actually funny.
So her oldest brother,
I'm one of 5.
me and him got real close.
Okay.
And before we got married, I always wanted a boat and he always wanted a boat. And we were like at a Christmas party or something. We're like, I'm talking to Pat, her brother, and he's like, Tom, let's just get the boat together. I was like, dude, he's like, no, do it before you guys get married in case anything happens.
Oh shit.
So
like,
they owned like
so me
they
and him bought
owned
it
something
together,
together
like-
before we owned something
my
together.
God.
I'm like, okay, cool guys, leave me out of this one.
Great. Did you tell your wife?
You're big water sports.
Love sports.
Yeah,
Actually, I hate watching sports. I think it's boring. I like playing sports.
I played sports in the football, baseball, basketball, hockey. I don't like watching sports.
It's just more fun to play the
I
sport.
will love coaching them. I love the analytics of them. I like picking them up. Me and Rachel have 35 hobbies. 1 week you'll catch us fishing.
I was gonna say I'm not
She is
an
not
athlete.
an athlete.
Yeah.
Like I was a bench
But I pushed
warmer.
for it.
Wait, so have you like gotten into sports now because Tom's into sports?
Sutton can take that round. No, he tried to teach me. No, okay, we've like golf.
I'll take her to go shoot around like basketball, and it turns into me grabbing all of her rebounds as she throws it from half court.
I mean, I try. Like, I'll appease Tom for a little bit. Be like, okay, can we do something else now? But we enjoy golf together though.
We do golf together.
The first time you
and
taught
I don't
me,
love golf, so that's
well,
kind
when
of
you
fun.
hear
Like, of
Tom
all the
teach me how to
ones-
golf, and what'd you say?
We're at the driving range. Okay, do you guys do any sports together?
Not really.
No.
Tubing. If you consider
Snowboard?
tubing behind
You
the
taught
boats.
me how to snowboard.
Abby loves
Tubing is a
tubing.
sport because
I love tubing.
the
She's a
laps,
queen.
like you're a workout.
I
Abby's
like to work
jacked.
out.
So
Okay.
like yeah, you've
He's
got
like,
the
you're
laps.
a workout.
Like are you doing the barrel rolls in the tube? Or are you getting whipped?
I will get.
She can hold on. Like there's nothing you'll do to get her
I
to
will
let go.
stay on
I could
that
see you
tube.
doing that. I saw when you guys did the workout class
I thought I
for
was
a
gonna
week.
Dude,
chip
Abby's
all
jacked.
my teeth.
I know.
And she can beat
yeah,
me.
it's
We did a
impressive.
push-up competition. Guess how many push-ups Abby did in this competition? Just guess. Just throw out a crazy number.
She did.
I don't
37.
even know.
So I did
didn't-
108. She beat me. Guess how many she did? I did 108, and she
In a
did
row?
more. So we were
No.
So she would
Okay,
go. I would go. She would go.
Oh, like pyramid.
Yeah. So we were taking. Like I was breaking as she was doing push-ups, and vice versa.
So 120.
I don't remember.
I think it was either 117 or
God,
118.
guys, she is so humble.
Stop.
She doesn't
No.
even remember.
She didn't even remember.
No.
She's ready for the.
Doing it
She's
not
ready for the
for
next
you.
competition.
Hyping me up way too
No,
much.
she is humble though because she'll be like, I don't know if I can do like a pull up. Right? I'm like, babe, you can do like when she does a pull up, she'll be like, like it's like I'm like, dude, you can do 50. I'm like, you
Man,
are
I don't do shit that's too easy.
so anyway.
What were we talking about?
Do you play
Sports.
sports?
We
Yes.
he taught me to snowboard together. We snowboard
I
together.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fun. Heels and toes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we played pickleball just like a couple weeks ago together.
Yeah, you're getting better. You're getting better. You're doing great.
But no, not really.
Me with a tennis racket is scary.
Hi,
Or a
hi,
pickleball
hi.
racket, any of the above.
No, I always say I feel like a giant trying to get a ping pong ball. Like I just feel so clumsy. Like and
Since
awkward.
like with the two now, do you guys have any like super intentional time? We both have discovered our time apart, like my one-on-one time with me alone and friend,
Yeah.
and her having her time is important.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yes.
like, have you guys done like because if you're not doing sports together, I know you do a lot. I know you do your workout classes.
Yeah.
Super admirable. Like you jumping in because it's part of her life. Yeah. Are there things that like dinner or nights out or
we like our general rule is one date night a week, but sometimes life. But we just recently did like a
birthday trip to
birthday
Vegas.
trip.
That
It
was
was
fun.
like it was probably in
It was
total
like
like
36 hours?
36 hours
Yeah.
or something. But it was like so
Wait,
fun. And
isn't
he
that
like
funny?
chose.
Wait, 36 hours with two is like a week and a half.
It
No.
felt so long.
And
So
you're not away
long.
from the kids very long, so you don't because if you're gone from your kids for
It's
more
too
than 2
sad.
days, you
Yeah.
go crazy. You're like, I need to be with my babies, right?
100%.
But just a really short trip, dude. You know what the best part was of this whole trip?
He chose. Oh, sorry, I'm not gonna say.
Oh no, you're good. The best part was the drive there. 5 hours that we just got to talk. Just me and her, no phones, no audiobook, no podcast.
We're big road trip fans.
It was amazing. it
That's
was
why he
so
chose
good.
to do a road trip. He's like, the flight is really short, but we could just road trip so we could actually just drive, which was the whole point of the trip was like to connect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was really fun. But
And then second best part, the freaking spa, dude. Like we
never would
relaxed.
have liked that before kids. Like we would have wanted to
Be
hike, do
active,
something
yeah.
like jump from that little thing at the top of in Vegas. What's the thing that you can bungee
There's
jump
a space
from?
needle, so you can.
We would have wanted to do
Bungee.
those
Yeah.
things. Now
Yeah.
like the spa sounds wonderful.
Yeah,
But are you guys good about date nights?
Yeah, we do one every
Thursday.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
I love that.
Yeah.
And what's your?
And it was one of those things I remember with Sutton. It took us 8 months before we went out alone. And I didn't even like realize. I remember always not judging, but I was like, I don't ever want to be that parent who never has like quality time together after a kid's born. And then I remember Sutton, like 8 months went by, and I was like, I get it now. Like it's so much you don't understand until you
Yeah.
understand. And I knew like number 2, we both said like we want to be way more intentional about that. And so we have been.
That's awesome. What are like typical? Do you do dinner a lot?
Yeah, we
or-
love dinner.
Yeah.
We're foodies.
Yeah,
We
we're like pick a spot that we like an appetizer,
And a
and if we
cocktail.
want to order the next thing, we'll order.
If
Otherwise,
not,
we're
we'll
walking
hop to like
somewhere
the
else.
next one. Yeah.
Oh,
When we grew up
fun.
in like our engagement and our dating, we were living in Chicago, where it's like walk out the door, pick a direction, walk, and you'll find 10 new spots.
Wow,
So we're big.
Yeah, we're
on that.
foodies. We travel to eat. date
That's
nights to
fun.
eat.
and who plans out the date nights?
I feel like it's we're not
Tandem,
like
yeah.
I'm not like you do this week, I'll do next week type person. We're pretty much like, all right, we have the night, like let's go here and then we'll figure out what we want to do after. And it's usually we're very go with the flow people. So we'll like call up a friend, see if anyone's doing anything, meet someone at a bar, a restaurant, hop around. We've seen
Somebody might have
shows.
things going on.
Yeah.
Might be live music. Or
We love live
Love
music.
live music.
fun. I love that.
I feel like that's one of those important things you can do to take care of your marriage. Like if you want to be good parents, good leaders for your kids, you got to be, you've got to be unified as one, right? Like there's I think Abraham Lincoln, like one of his speeches back in the 1800s, he said like a house divided amongst itself won't stand or will fall. There's a lot of truth to that. Like you need to be unified.
I think you can't plan intentional time. Yeah. Right? Like you can't plan like right now we're going to have 10 minutes of heart to heart and get to know each other. Right?
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes is if you want 10 minutes quality time, spend 3 hours. Right?
Wow.
Like you're never going to find it.
Wait, that's just like dagger to the heart right there. That's so good.
And with 2, and as our families, hopefully I believe you guys want your family to grow more or not. We definitely do.
Yeah.
The time is going to get tighter.
Yep.
And what felt like a day, like what we could accomplish in a day, it feels like with 2 we can accomplish in like 3 days now. Like, right? So that whole idea of 3 hours to get 10 minutes, if you're rushing your date night, if you're rushing to have a meal because you need the box checked, you're not going to get the intentional time.
Bingo.
And that, like, to me, like, I think that's why we go with the flow where it's like tonight's date night, like we'll order the damn pizza and eat it in the car. And if one of us is like, you know what, bowling sounds fun. Maybe we'll run and go bowling. Maybe we'll sit under the stars. Maybe we'll go to Dorothy and Dick's Park and like sit under the art show. But like, it's very much to just find that intentional time. Okay. And this is something I think we're learning through. We're trying to figure out how to do it with our children as well. And that's right now, Rosie's still breastfeeding, right? Tied to mom. Sutton is starting to tie to me.
Yeah. It's everything is dad right now. It's, so we're in the car seat. No, I want Dada.
So we're very intentional. I want Dada. Sutton loves getting her nails done. So she's starting to take.
Now it's, now I'm taking Sutton to get her little nails done and trying to do more like intentional one-on-one time. I feel like we used to do everything as like a unit. And not that it doesn't work, but I feel like Sutton definitely needs that.
That's interesting. I feel like we don't really separate the kids very much. They're kind of usually always like, we probably should do one-on-one time with each of them.
Yeah, I think especially as they get older too, like now that Griffin can talk, he can speak, like they're very short sentences, they're like 3-word sentences, but still he's able to communicate with us. And I think having one-on-one time
is so sweet. This morning he said he does look out for Augie, and like he said to us, like Augie can go down the stairs by himself. He knows to turn around and like scoot down. But Griffin said, he said, come on Augie, because he wasn't coming down the stairs because I was like, we're gonna have breakfast, and he's like, come on Augie. And I'm like, he'll come down eventually. And then when Augie finally made his way to the stairs, Griffin goes, turn around. So
that reminds me of Sutton's the same way. She's like, Whoa-y, you need, and then she like sticks the pasty in her mouth. I'm like, she really doesn't need that right now. And she's like, her crying. And I'm like, she's fine. She's like, she's not fine.
Well, something that I think is,
look out for each other.
I know, it's so cute.
Well, something that I think is absolutely beautiful about your story is you guys didn't just give your kids' names because they sounded cool. Like that's honestly what we did. We were just like, oh, this like Griffin sounds sick. Like we're just gonna name our
sick.
Honestly,
that's a really good name.
Let's
Their
name
middle
our
names
kid
were
Griffin.
meaningful.
Their middle names were meaningful, but it's like, you know what? Griffin sounds freaking dope. Let's name our kid Griffin. Augie. Okay, August is his full name. We're like, that sounds so cool. But like with you guys, you were very intentional with like the story behind your daughter's names. Could you guys like elaborate on that a little bit for anybody that might not know?
Like we said, I went to school for creative writing. I just love storytelling. It's my favorite thing ever.
You want meaning in everything, and it's awesome. You like to have meaning in everything.
It's the writer in me. But so Sutton, I never was a person who had like a list in my phone of like baby names. And when we were dating, I was in North Carolina and Tom was in
Carbondale. Like we were talking
Carbondale.
About. Yeah. I was kicking off
my crazy.
My mom grew up around there.
The fact that you haven't brought her to the wineries. Well, they have wineries there that will blow away Napa.
But they're a lot cheaper too.
In Carbondale?
Heron specifically.
My mom,
Tom feels very strongly about
my mom's entire side of the family grew up in Southern Illinois.
Blue Sky, Russell Hill, killer.
Crazy.
He's friends with the coach of Q&D in Quincy.
What? You're friends with the Q&D coach?
Yeah, Jack Cornell. We were teammates.
What?
Which I know. That's a big family in Quincy.
Okay, for people that are confused, Abby grew up in a really tiny town in Illinois called Quincy, Illinois. It's like 5 hours from Chicago, and it's right across the river from Hannibal, Missouri.
It's really more Missouri than it is Illinois.
And in Hannibal, everybody knows Hannibal because of Huckleberry Finn, Tom Sawyer, all that. Anyway, sorry.
Small world.
That's crazy. Yeah. Okay, crazy.
Yeah, so he was down there, and I was in North Carolina, and we would meet halfway, like once every couple of months or whatever, whatever we could do.
Back when it's dating and fun, where you drive for 7 hours or 6 hours to have one night
5 hours
together.
and 40 minutes to be exact.
Sweet.
And there was 5 hours and 40 minutes from both of us was a restaurant called Sutton's
in
Lexington, Kentucky.
It was 5 hours and 40 minutes for both
from
of you.
So each of us drove that amount. We would meet there. So we had met at this restaurant,
it was so
Sutton's.
cute. The owner.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. His daughter was named Sutton, or the owner's daughter.
Those places you go to eat and they just make you feel at home. He's an older man. He owns it. Not older, but just he had white hair. That's why I thought of it.
Yeah.
But he would check on every table.
Aww.
And would be not like I'm the owner, just check on you. And then we were small talking, and he's like, "Oh, I started this." And
I was like, "Yeah, where's the name Sutton come from?" And he's like, "Oh, it was my daughter's name." And I had never
Italian.
thought of.
He's his Italian place, and he's like, which is a terrible name for an Italian place, I guess. Which made me laugh.
I just got chills. Like when you guys said that this old man named his restaurant after his daughter.
Yeah.
And I fell in love. I was always like, well, like if we ever get married one day and we have a kid, I feel like Sutton would just be like our story.
Yeah.
I mean, those little road trips got us through like well over a year of long distance dating, and it was pretty typically there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so special.
So that was where Sutton's name came about. So then Rosie, I'm like, okay, Sutton has this baller name. I'm like, not competing with it, but I do like a name that has a story, and I could not think of anything. I mean, I was 37 weeks pregnant, and still we did not have a name for this child.
We thought she was going into labor at 30.
It was like 30. It was like probably 37 weeks. That was when it probably was.
We were sitting watching a movie like this.
So it was like 35.
And she did one of these and held up her pants, and it was
soaked.
But Sutton was laying there earlier. We don't know.
We still don't know. To this day, it's a mystery. But there was a puddle of water, and I was like, Tom, I think my water broke. I was like, you need to smell it. We need to Google what's happening. We called the OB.
This is number 2, so you're like, my nose is in there.
You're a little bit more chill.
You're also a little more chill, and
and then it was like, if any more leakage happens, like you need to get to the hospital.
We were not at home, and we had to make a drive back. So they told us like monitor and drive back. On the drive, we're like, we don't have a name.
We're just like, we don't have a name, and
like not a starting point.
Yeah, I had nothing, and I knew I wanted to do something with an ode to Tom's mom because she had passed when I found out I was pregnant, like within the same 2 weeks of each other. And so I asked his sister what her favorite flower was. She was obsessed with flowers.
You asked that like right before we were with my sister.
Yeah,
at like a little vacation. So the conversation was happening as we thought this.
And I was like, what was Lenore's favorite flower? And she told me a rose. And rose hadn't it didn't do it for me all the way. But then
anyone with the baby named Rose, you're good.
No, you're good. It was like I needed a little something more to it. And it was like 2 weeks later, I saw someone with the name Rosie, and I was like, I love Rosie. Like that to me is darling. Not that Rose isn't. They are both darling, but it had more connection to me. And
doing the middle name.
What? You can do the middle name.
My mom's name's Lenore, so her middle name's Nor. So it's Rosie Nor.
Oh,
that's so sweet.
So she has a very beautiful name, and it means a lot. And both of our children have these cool names. Now the third one, I'm like, we might as well just do a cool name that we like now. break the pressure.
Yeah, that's so sweet. I love that story.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for what you guys have been through. I mean, there's just like nothing to really say there. I just think it's so cool that you obviously are remembering your mom with your daughter's name, and that's actually it's crazy that you say that you guys did that, because we actually did a similar thing with our son Griffin. His middle name is Abby's grandpa's middle name, and we lost him 3 years ago, and so him carrying that on too is like really special to our family.
I love that.
Yeah.
a lot of people know about my mom. My father died 4 years ago in October. So, and this is coming up on 1 year, my mom. So raising, just death in general, but like having kids and not having their grandparents or grandparents, or there is like a crazy emotional thing there. Cause you guys picked it cause I assumed there was great love.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you want to honor that great love. And there is something in my mind that happens a lot, thinking about my mom and dad, not knowing them, is they taught me great love, and they're not going to, my kids aren't going to feel it. Mm-hmm. They're not going to get that from them. Yeah. But I know they'll get it from us. Yeah. And I know how important that my parents' love is what made me, and is going to charge me to be a great father. So I think names, when you do things like that and you have people that drive you to be better, as parents, to honor your kids, and one day tell Griffin, like, hey, let me tell you about your middle name. Yeah. And that should give you butterflies, because your kid's going to feel it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I get why it holds up.
Man, you're gonna make me cry, Tom. I'm like feeling.
Yeah, let's go in a new direction now.
Dang it, man.
He's very well spoken.
I don't have mascara on, but it's gonna start dripping somehow. I don't know.
But that's a really cool point that you bring up. That like, even though they're not here to love on your kids, that like, in a way, their love is like what's charging you, so they get to feel their love.
Yeah,
so that's really special.
The best motivation in the world too. It's hard, but it is good.
How are you so wise? Like, did you have like a really incredible father or grandpa? Like, how are you so, I feel like you have a lot of wisdom and maturity.
I have an amazing father. True. My dad is, some of his phrases that like just popped to mind, like, Tom, like, you're going to meet people different than you, and you got to love it, because if everyone was like you, this world would suck. Yeah. And he did global sales, so he was, he embraced everybody. He would take it off his shirt for anybody. I mean, there was nobody that wasn't his friend. And he was a reader and a thinker, and me and him, we clicked so well that like every time we'd sit, it felt like our brain was in the same place.
That's awesome.
I had a grandpa that worked his ass off. He was an alcoholic and almost cost our family everything. And when the grandkids started coming, got healthy, and he was the best grandpa we'll ever know.
That's beautiful.
I just had a lot, family and honestly, sadly, like starting sophomore year of college, a lot of family that died. And when that starts to happen, you start to really like stop thinking that life will last till you're 80, and you start embracing a lot more. And it sucks because there's a lot of people in my life I wish were still here, but like a lot of stuff doesn't bug me. Right?
Yeah.
Little things do not get on my mind. Probably going to be a problem at some point with our kids.
Rachael, why do you think Tom has like so much wisdom?
I feel like you've been through a lifetime that person shouldn't have to go through. That's why. But it's great because he's the yin to my yang, because I'm not well spoken like him. But I'm a great writer and I'm very creative, and we pair so well in that sense. So it's so fun, like making TikToks and things. I love to. He's my main character. Thanks, you are my muse.
I think your relationship's beautiful, and I admire just the love that you guys have for one another. And I admire your wisdom, Tom, and I think I admire that because I feel like I just recently realized that I've been operating as a husband and father, but without the wisdom that I should have.
I was lucky. I have a lot of mentors that are 50, 60, even 70. Like I am very intentional at saying, like, I don't know a lot. And I would say intellectually I can stand up and I read and blah, 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 but I don't know shit. Mm-hmm. And I think the more you say, like, I don't know a damn thing, what do you know? What have you learned in your life?
Yeah.
and shut up and listen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it could be taking it and saying, I appreciate that, but I'm going to question that one.
Yeah.
Right? Like trust but verify.
Yeah.
I have good mentors. I really always have. That's a big one for me. And even like, I look back, sophomore year of high school is when my 3-year-old cousin got hit by a drunk driver on Christmas Eve. That's what we woke up to. And it destroyed my family systematically, people dying and taking their lives from then forward. Gene Nolan, Larry Tucker, Pat Hennessy were people at my high school that were older and wrapped their arms around me and said, Tom, like, we're here. And I let them and I listened. Like, they got me through that, period. You know? So I wish I could tell you more, but like, I trust a lot of people in my life. And I take my rails down and I shut my mouth and I listen when I need to. Mm-hmm. And I would tell anybody, just listen. Like, find good people and listen, and get rid of, like, we're parents now, like the ones that drag you down, the energy suckers, the ones who make you question your marriage, question your parenthood, like, seal your walls.
When that incident happened, when that drunk driver hit the 3-year-old family member, Ashley was your family member?
Ashley was my 3-year-old cousin. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. When that happened, you said these mentors came around you and surrounded you with love. That was people at your high school, older students that heard about what happened.
That was my basketball coach, the principal of the school, and the counselor.
Wow.
They're also.
Beautiful.
I went to a private school. I drove 60 because of sports.
Yeah.
I drove 60 minutes away to get to the school that academically and athletically would put me where I wanted to get, which was getting into the pros, football or basketball. And that school was great academically and it was great athletically. So they were people I chose to go to that school because they were there. So when they saw that it was breaking me, like, they knew. You know what I mean? Like, drinking came out of nowhere. Like, playing with, like, experimenting with people that do drugs and hanging out with them.
100, because it's like what,
they saw it.
Yeah. Well, when you're at that level of point, it's like nothing matters anymore, probably.
No, I wanted to figure out why this happened and how to hide it. And it's my first time dealing with pain.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And what did they do that helped you?
Just there.
And being there, was it just at school? Was it outside of school too, checking up on you?
Pat Hennessy was like, Tom, he gave me a rock to hold in my pocket. Mm-hmm. He's like, you're a rock. You keep everything emotional inside and you smile. You make everyone else happy. And one day you will be in big trouble if you don't take that rock out of your pocket and let your emotions out.
Yeah.
Like, truly. That was his. Gene Nolan just sat me down all the time. He knew my family personally. He was like, how's your parents doing? How's Uncle Mike doing? Have you seen Bridget and the kids? Like, he knew my family. Mm-hmm. So they just embraced me like you would do for someone you love.
And did you feel like, with having these mentors surround you and be there for you, did you like then feel the need, like, since you were supported, to be there for members of your family? Or at the time as a child, were you just like, you know, how did you navigate?
I was always I'll do whatever you ask.
Yeah.
I was the oldest of a lot of little cousins who I love, and our family was like this before that accident. I didn't, like, up till sophomore year of high school, my weekends were like going to one of the aunts' house so all the aunts and uncles can go out to have dinner, and I stay with all the kids.
That's awesome.
You know, so like, yeah, so that's how and that's how my dad was, you know, like,
and he would, like that.
Yeah, like we and I'm trying to, like, be better because it drove my dad into a depression, and there's a lot of layers to that, including him losing his siblings, but like I'm trying to be more cognizant of, like, I definitely can't take care of myself. I have to take care of myself to take care of others, right? Like, I can't always just say yes if I just get worn down and all of a sudden I'm at a wall, right, and I can't go forward. So I'm still learning a lot of that. You're helping me, obviously. Yeah.
I mean, I hate topics like this because they're so sad and so dark. But I guess, like, the hope I have in talking about this is that someone could hear this right now that is going through something like that, or might be about to go through something like that. What what should they know? Like, what should they?
I'll tell you some universal things here. Mm-hmm. If you know somebody that lost somebody, it doesn't matter if it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years, 3 months. Like they need to be asked about it.
Yeah, and just straight up ask them.
I mean, my dad just hit 4 years. We get asked about my mom a lot. Like, and that's not a. It's just like my dad feels like it was yesterday. I'm still processing my dad very much. The holidays are coming. Like if you know people that lost somebody and you know it's in them, like just ask, throw an olive. You can't force it. You can't grill it, right? Like there's nothing worse than like a fake compliment, right? Like somebody tells you they like your shoes and you're like, oh man, it could pick you up. If they said it because it's superficial, you know the difference,
yeah.
Right? Like give an honest, like, hey, are you missing dad? Mm-hmm. Or have you thought about him? And
or even just the statement of I'm thinking,
like a text.
You get those. Yeah.
Oh my God, a text like I'm thinking of Uncle Tom or I'm thinking your dad.
Yeah, we'll get that a lot.
Thinking about your Christmas.
Thinking about Tommy today. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like a question. Like put them in a situation where they have to answer. I think about it a dozen times a day, every single day, my dad and my mom. So when somebody else says they are too, it is like illuminating. Yeah. It's not sad. Yeah. It like, because I'll tell you, I'm like, oh my God. We have at our house, our TV screen, we have always a picture slideshow going at all times. Mm-hmm. And it's just photos that we've accumulated throughout the years, but a lot of them are of his parents or people who are no longer with us, and it's fun to see those and show Sutton and she'll look at a picture of your mom and be like, Grandma. Yeah. Like she was at the age where we don't know if she has that memory, but it's cool that we can show her who she is. Yeah. And that's just a really special thing. One other thing too, like, is somebody hearing the messages I get and think, like, your crazy feelings and emotion, like other people have them. Like when you feel guilt or sad or upset or happy about weird shit. Yeah. Because of somebody, like after somebody, like other people have them too. Like having my daughter, like Rosie recently, and me being like, Mom and Dad don't get to meet you. And it like really, my mom and dad don't get to meet you. Like really like messing me up, that like the highest joy, the lowest low, like meeting in the middle. Like, the amount of times I question, like, should I be allowed to feel like this? I think in parents in general, there's a lot of like, am I allowed to feel like this? So that's a big one. The question that I'm afraid to ask, because of just like, I cannot imagine what it would be like, is kind of like what you saw from the perspectives of the family members that ended up taking their life because of what happened. And I guess the thing that freaks me out the most is, what if that were to happen to someone that I know, or some like one of my close relatives, right? Or what if I were ever to experience the horror story of what your family went through, but in my own home? And so I guess my question is, if something like that happens, what do you do to maintain your sanity? Like as a parent, like if you're a parent that loses a child, what do you do so that you don't end up taking your own life? I got nothing. I'll be honest. I've seen a lot of people. Everyone handles it differently. Everyone takes it out, and I've read a lot of books on it, right? Because I went through it. Like, I vividly remember one of them saying, like, your family member might take it all out on your family because you will take it out on the people that are closest to you, because there is a subconscious that they will forgive you. Yeah, which is a weird thing, because they got angry. Like, there were people angry, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and sometimes, like, it's easier to bring in the person and tell them all of your secrets and all of your pain. That's a stranger, because you can kick them to the curb, right? Like, it's harder to do that with family. Mm-hmm. So I honestly, I have no clue. I have none. I have a lot of reflecting right now. One of my biggest things is, I've been given the advice, like, you're analyzing a lot. You know where your pain came from. You know why your shortcomings are happening a little more often. I need you to start telling the story of your dad as much as you can. And I need you to start thinking about the future and tomorrow and what you're going to do, rather than analyzing the past. Yeah. So that's like, and that was just in the last 3 weeks. So that's kind of where my mind's at. I wish I could give you more. I wish I could tell somebody that's going through it, like, hey, do this. Yeah. Because I don't want you to have to live through pain.
And I have no clue what that is.
And not that I have all the answers or anything. I almost feel like there's probably a lot of hope in community, probably, or like
big time.
Even and if you don't have community, maybe like if you're going through something traumatic, to go talk to a therapist, because that's probably the closest thing you can get to community without actually having community. If you're in a new city and you don't know anybody, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard. Thank you for being open to sharing that. I know for a fact that's going to help someone that's listening to this.
You want to put your marriage on the line, go through it, and you'll know if you got a good spouse. I mean, having kids, you got to know you have a good spouse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even making the decision, I don't care when you make it, you got to have a good spouse, because you get it. Like even at 2 kids, like man, you got to be able to lean on each other.
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, there's a reason that so many marriages fail after kids, because that's a lot to go through as a couple, all the ups and downs of that together. And that's why I love your story, because you guys are like making food and like, doing good things in the world.
Yeah,
so I really
you
like
talk
that.
a lot about having good mentors, but I know that you guys are an awesome mentor as a couple to so many, not just online, but like to all the college students you served. Like think about the impact like on those people's, like you're not just like receiving wisdom from others, you are sharing that so humbly and with so much service to others too. So that's really cool. Share a little bit. I know, because I know we're probably running out of time, but share a little bit about your what you do with college students, because it's so cool.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
You can take a break from speaking if you would like. Well, okay. Hey guys, college meals. I went to school out of state, so I didn't know anybody. I went to Appalachian State. And there is that feeling of the...
Is that how you say that?
Appalachian?
Mm-hmm.
I always said Appalachian.
It's not Appalachian, it's Appalachian.
No
I'm
way.
not.
Wait.
Right.
Okay, set the record straight for everyone watching this right now.
Well, now you're freaking me out.
It's Appalachian. Appalachian is
It's
the official way.
Appalachian, yeah.
Okay,
Are
I like
you sure?
that.
Yeah.
99% sure?
Well, my accent might be doing a little weird thing to it, but it's Appalachian.
what is your accent?
Chicago accent.
Chicago.
Yeah.
That makes
I
sense.
think she picks up accents, because the Chicago people are like, where is that coming from?
No, because like I grew up 5 hours from Chicago, and I couldn't put a pin on where your accent was from. But Appalachian, is that how they say it though when you're like in the area? Because I feel like the locals probably know how to say it better than the people that aren't local.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I said Appalachian, and then I went there, and it's Appalachian.
Okay, I like it.
No,
It is what it is, Matt. It is what it is.
I feel gaslit right now because I've said Appalachian my whole life. I'm trying to think if my teacher,
North Carolina is known for making names different to tell who's from there. Beaufort and Beaufort.
Yeah,
Like
I don't know. That's
do
getting
that.
into...
So I believe her.
Sorry, I'm just trying to
And
think
she went
back.
to school there. So.
All right, back to the...
Yes, sorry.
No, you're good.
So 12 hours from home.
So my 3rd week of college or whatever it was, it's Labor Day weekend, and it's a state school, so everyone kind of went back home, and I was alone in the dorm, and I was like, I cannot be alone. I'm really bad at that. And so I called up that family friend that I had told you guys about earlier, and she said, you can come on out to Raleigh and we'll be here for the weekend and we'll host you. And I did that. And for the next 4 years, anytime there was like a holiday or I couldn't make it home, or I just needed a home cooked meal or just to be with a family and be in a home and feel loved, I would go over there. They were my family, my adopted family. That's what I always called them. And so that to me felt like a big reason, not why we started the college meals, but I love that reasoning behind it, because I always felt like I wish I could just be in someone's home, even if it was for 15 minutes, or have a home cooked meal from someone. But that family friend had a neighbor who is our college kid, Kevin. And at the time though, he was like 8 when I met him. So we didn't really like know each other, but I would go over to their house for Easter. And then when we moved out to Raleigh, Tom saw him at the gym. And
I think I had met him once.
Yeah, you had met him like once in his life at that lake house.
And I literally crept up to picture. I was like, that's Kevin, right? She's like, yes.
I'm like, yes. And I was like, go talk to him. Like, don't be a weirdo. Like, go say hey.
So I walked up, and he's 3 weeks into his freshman year of college at NC State, which where we live, it's like in our backyard. It's throughout our whole community, State is. And COVID had just closed the dorms and the cafeterias. So he's finding an apartment.
And learning how to cook on his own,
and
all
be with
the
his
things.
buddy. And that just went back to like my college experience. Like without like the cafeteria freshman year, you got so many other things on your mind, and it's just a big transition. We had been the Rachael Ray show. She gave us a year free of groceries so I could keep cooking for my wife. Sweet. $280 a week. I never spent more than $75 because I'm like, it's just the two of us.
So much extra money for just
so
the two
much.
of
It was
us.
from Misfits. We'll give them a little shout out because they were awesome. Well, I know.
We spent $75
this
a week
was also
in college.
Yeah. So I would just add some extra stuff. And I would text him, hey, and of course the first one I'm like showing off to him. Like we have surf and turf, like literally grilled lobster. And he's like, I'll be over.
You want to come over for dinner? I was like, yeah, I'll be there. And like the first few times that he came through, I would take little videos and I'd send it to his mom because we were friends. And I'd be like, Kevin's getting a meal, but like, don't worry about it. We're taking care of him. And at that point I had like 10 or so videos together. And so I made a compilation and I posted a TikTok and I was like, we adopted this college student named Kevin and he returns his Tupperware. And it
he
again,
his Tupperware.
yeah, and it went, it
he would always
hit.
come in with it washed, which I'm sure.
It was so sweet. Yeah, I'm sure they instilled. I mean, they were great parents, so they totally instilled that in Kevin. But after that, the TikTok went viral about it, and we had so many DMs of people being like, "I want someone to cook for me." I mean, it was overwhelming the amount of people who were like, "I wish that I could have a home cooked meal or something like this."
Yeah.
And so me and Tom were like, "What if we just like throw up on Instagram story that we're cooking?" It was a holiday. It was like Labor Day weekend.
DM
like
me if you have a college ID and you can get to Raleigh. I'll give you the address.
We'll give you, and it wasn't like come hang out at our house. It was like come take some food and like kind of be on your merry way.
Because like Kevin's first 10 times we're always grabbing and go. Every now and then he would talk, but college, remember you're busier than ever. Like life is always a million miles an hour. So it was very intentional of like, you don't need to hang with us. Like just grab it and go. Hang if you need to. Sit on the couch. Football will be on. We always do them on Sundays.
And so we had 2-3 people show up to the first meal, and Kevin and his friend being one of them, and then this girl named Krista, and she sent us a letter afterwards. It was a text, and it was saying like how meaningful this was to her, and that she was in between jobs and didn't have time to grab some food that day, and it just like it meant a lot. And that was kind of the moment me and Tom were like, it really meant something to someone, right? And we said, as long as we have the means to be able to do it, like the funds, because we can't afford to do this.
So we're doing them every week.
We'll keep cooking.
So we just took Rachael Ray's groceries, and I was like, first one, spaghetti and meatballs. Like I'll just order all the ground beef and all the ingredients, and everything's cooked to the same way Rachael has to eat. So that's kind of like a deep-seated meaning with the gluten-free and everything. So I'm like, I'll just use Rachael Ray's. Well, we do another one, and there's like 7 kids. Then there's 15. Then there's 40.
And it just like keeps crawling up.
And now there's like hundreds signed up.
Oh my gosh.
So then I'm like, and
you had to sign up at this point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You had to sign up at this point.
By the
it was
way,
a whole thing.
Like, I'm working a full-time job. Like, this isn't social media social media was how we got these students invited, and we always felt like because we were on Rachael Ray and Yahoo and there was a bunch of articles, like at least they could send their parents like, look, they were on this, you know what I mean? Like some credibility. It's just some credibility to it.
Totally.
Which was funny because one person just the last meal
was like,
selfie was like, I got to show this to my mom because I said I'm going to a TikToker's house.
I'm going to a TikToker's house. She's like, what?
That's so funny.
So anyways, we got to meal like 6 and there's hundreds signed up. And I said, we can't afford, like we just can't afford this. So we opened a GoFundMe and I said, as long as this is filled, I will cook. Like, I don't care what I love that part of it for me.
Yeah.
And that's part, like truly, that's like a healing thing for me. It puts me just in a good place, like the process.
Yeah.
And we opened the GoFundMe, it's filled in like an hour.
That's
and then
so
overfilled.
Cool.
So then it went to hundreds of students.
So now, I mean, the sign-up list is thousands of students, and it's not just like one. So we're in Raleigh. So the majority. The
last meal had 9
universities. Yeah. So it's like NC State, Duke, UNC.
We threw
Meredith.
a year-end party. 1,500 was the capacity for the place. It was filled in 6 minutes. We had somebody drive
like 10
hours from Ball State, Ohio, to come with their friend.
It's so cool because, like, yes, the meal is, like, probably delicious and, like, but it just shows the thing that I remember really lacking. It's so funny that it was on Sundays because in college I was so sad on Sundays because that's when my family would all have a meal at my grandma's house. And I would always tell Matt, I'm like, I'm sad on Sundays because we'd always be with grandma and like our whole family together. And now I'm just alone on Sundays and it just feels like not an event. So that's so cool that like you're not just providing that meal, like you're providing community and like a sense of home and that like comfort that comes with it.
Yeah.
That's
I think you hit it like right on the head. People ask us, they're like, well, why do they need food? Yeah. Like everyone just needs community. They need some of them need just a house to walk into, a break from their day. Like that's not our place. Our door's just open. I don't care why you're here.
Yeah.
Like just come.
That's so
there's
cool.
a million reasons why people come and it's not for us to judge.
And we work with the universities on the back end and let them know that we have them. And it's on those groups that there are students that need food. Tell them to come. We don't need to know they're coming. Let them walk in with the rest of their students. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The rest of your peers and.
Yeah. But yeah, now we used to do it like once every other week for the first.
We did
like
every week, then every other week. Then Sutton came.
Then Sutton came. Then we did it monthly. And now we're kind of back to that like monthly routine.
We just did our first one since Rosie for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that was super fun.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
You guys are so cool. That's crazy to be feeding hundreds of students like at your own
It's
home.
wild. It's at her home, right?
Does that freak you out like with like privacy and stuff at all? With like
No, it doesn't me. No.
I'll never make a decision based off like what somebody bad could do. Right? Like I'm not too worried.
Yeah.
Wow. If I would tell you this, here, you're invited. You guys ever want to come to a meal, you can help me cook, you can be a part of it, you can help serve and walk them through. You will see some of the most grateful people. The amount of people we have to beg them to go grab more Tupperware and get
Everyone's
more food.
so frugal. We're like, please
They're
eat
like,
more, grab
it's so
more.
nice you guys are doing this. We're like, no, like grab the food.
That's so cool.
Sweet.
Wait, what if like there was a non-for-profit that just fed people free food? Like what? Wouldn't that be
There's
so?
like dozens of them.
No, I
they're
know.
just-
I know, but like I feel like you have to pass certain criteria. Like what if it was like literally it's just for anybody? Like you could be a billionaire or you could have not a penny to your name and you can just come here and eat for free. Like wouldn't that be so cool?
The bureaucracy behind it's tough. But I will also give a shout out, a place at the table, Raleigh. It's pay as you can. More than 80% of the people don't pay a penny.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I love that.
And they do, it's a
really
massive
cool.
kitchen. It's great food.
It's great food.
Every community should have a place like that. And there are places that are making it happen.
That's awesome.
That gets me fired up. What you guys are doing gets me fired up. I just love to hear stories of people doing good things just because. Not because of any benefit to them, just because. That's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on our show.
Thank you.
This was so much fun.
us.
I like really enjoyed talking to you. So thank you. This was great.
Thanks for
And your
having
kids
us.
are awesome, and I know you guys need to go, be parents and do all that. So we get it, but I guess if you've listened to this whole episode, please go like buy their books.
Yeah, their new
You
one.
guys-
Oh my God, can we show it?
Wait, yeah,
Yes.
can we show the book?
When does it officially come out?
Is it? Yeah. What's the official date that it's out?
So, oh my God, look at my cute belly.
February 27th.
Wow.
It's
It ships. 28th?
beautiful.
Let's
It's
go.
like a 25th.
February 25th.
February 25th.
February
It comes
25th.
out. It's beautiful. Look at a little
It is
sneaky peek.
beautiful.
Wow, the photos are amazing.
Yeah, they're
Okay, the photos are amazing.
there's Teddy.
Rachel is as honest as she was in this and writes extremely well and will make you feel like her arms are around you and make you feel like you are doing a great job. Like her writing in this,
So nice.
everyone looks at the photos and she organized the photos too. That's her touch.
Yeah.
But there's
Writing.
writing in there that walks you through pregnancy, and there's advice from both of us. The topics we hit. Be intentional in this moment. Your life will change after this baby comes. So stop right now and talk about the things you love right now.
Yeah.
And then get jacked up about the change.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Totally.
And that's the purpose of it.
It would make an amazing gift. You find out a friend's pregnant.
I know, right? So fun.
Perfect. It starts at week 8, right?
Yeah.
So like that's like usually right.
That's
you have,
like
you have a couple
first
weeks
ultrasound.
to order the book.
That was like our thought. Mhm.
That's such a
Every
perfect gift.
week has 3 recipes.
And And it's so perfect too, because you don't have to think. No one wants to meal plan. And like, you could just be like, okay, well, what are we having this week, babe?
Some of them are
What
simple.
What's our cute little thing to celebrate?
There's some desserts. Like I showed you one of the mocktails is a cucumber
mocktails,
like margarita.
Appetizers. Tom mixes fruit with meat, which doesn't sound good, but I promise it's delicious.
I wish you guys were our neighbors. I would just come over to your house all the time and just eat your food.
Seriously, I want to invite them for dinner, but
what do
I'm a
you
little
got?
intimidated. I'm like, it might not be that
You busting through the door.
it's just
honey, what do you got?
good. Truthfully, you
Well,
guys.
today, Matt, me and you are going to cook for Abby and Rachel.
Baby number 3 together.
Oh my gosh.
You guys, the
Not for
book
a
is
minute, though.
beautiful and make an amazing gift or just something to have like on your bookshelf
It's
in
so
your
cute.
kitchen.
I'm so excited.
And
Crafted with love.
yeah, you can tell so much thought and like genuine thought went into that. So pick it up February 25th.
Yes.
Well, thank you both so much. And yeah, this is great.
So bye.
So bye.
So bye.